Hey guys, Anish here, career coach to the fiercely ambitious. Back at you today with a video on something that has driven me, I can almost guarantee you, and everyone around us crazy at one moment or another, right? Which is, I was interviewing, things were going well, I was getting along well with the hiring manager. What gives, dude? Why did things fall apart right at the end? Over the years as a career coach, people have come to me with variations of that story after interview 2, 3, sometimes after interview 5, once after interview 10. What is going on, right? And if you're in a job search right now, or you've recently been in one, and you've noticed that you've consistently been getting passed over for roles, I don't want you to ignore that. I don't want you to make the mistake that many people do that say, hey, I got close, I didn't get it, so I'm good, I'm going to keep moving, because that can be getting close and not getting it over time can be as much of an indicator of something deeper going on beneath the surface as anything else, and you should not ignore that. Okay, so I want to go through a couple of targeted tips. Some of this is really counterintuitive, but I promise you it is all coming from either personal experience or the experience of having coached now successfully over 1,600 other people, job seekers, mostly mid to senior level, who have faced exactly the same situation, okay? Number one, okay, before I get into the tips, please remember this, okay? From a mindset piece, hiring is not something that you can just good student your way to doing, okay? And I think this is one of the major mental issues that trips up otherwise deserving candidates. We think like, hey, if I just, have the best resume and I'm the best candidate for the job and I give them the best of what they're asking for, then I'm the best, I get the best marks and I get the role. But that's not how hiring works. Because here's the thing. I could have the greatest criteria in the world for what I want in an ideal candidate, okay? I want this person, he's got to have this many years of marketing experience, or she, they got to have this, they got to go to this school, and I got these priorities, but I don't know. If I had 100% clarity on what I needed to solve my problem, I would have already fixed it. So the best candidate has to give me not only what I'm looking for, really, but more importantly, they have to give me what I'm not anticipating. They have to give me what I need, not necessarily just what I am asking for. And a big reason people get passed over late stage is you've given them everything right. There's nothing wrong about you. You just never pushed them to discover and identify what they don't know, what they need, not what they want. And these 3 things will help you do that. The first one, okay, are you being too agreeable? And I really want you to ask yourself that. When I was in high school, some of my best friends used to be like, Anish, you're a bit of a people pleaser, and they used to drive me crazy. But when I got older, I was like, yeah, you know what, I was, right? Because I would warp what I knew to be true because I wanted that outcome. I didn't want to burn the bridges. So I ended up not really standing for anything at all, And I really want you to ask yourself, are you doing that? When you're in a hiring situation, how many times are you challenging an assertion? How many times are you calling out BS? How many times are you digging deeper than just what the surface level thing, like, oh yeah, business here in this side has been great. Well, wait a minute. Right? Let's back up. Let's talk about the numbers. Specifically, with your permission, could we go a little bit deeper here? Can we go a little bit deeper here? What's happening here? What's the plan for here? How much of that is going on? If you're not doing much of that, I guarantee you're not going anywhere new. And if it's not new territory, there's no real pressure that you're applying in the best way to move towards an offer for you, right? What way do you know to be right? What way do you know is wrong? I want you to look at your brand. Is it something that any expert in marketing, any expert in tech, any expert in finance, any expert in business development would have, or ops would have? How unique is it? Are you calling out and are you standing for a way of moving forward that is right and a moving forward that is wrong? If you're not standing for it and it's not being expressed in your brand, and if it's not being expressed in your conversations and the challenging nature of it, then there's a real problem. There's a real problem. So I want you to specifically think of, in any engagement, especially if it's later stage, at least 2 or 3 challenge moments, 2 or 3 aha moments, 2 or 3 moments where you can tell the other person went, whoa, I wasn't expecting that, or wow, that's a real, okay, sure, let's go a little bit further there. 2 or 3 of those moments are more critical than you getting everything right. I've seen plenty of people get everything right and get rejected on the other side of hiring without a moment's notice. Don't fall for that trap. 2 or 3 challenge moments, and if you're following up with an employer that is gun shy, in other words, you've done everything right and they're just not presenting an offer, when you follow up, it should never be about, oh, I really believe I should, or I'm great. I want you to think about concerns. I want you questioning whether they're committed enough. I want you questioning whether they have enough buy-in to do what is necessary to make this change. In your mind, there is no question of whether the path that you have is the one and only way. The only question is whether these guys have enough gumption to move it forward. So raise concerns about what you've experienced to date and frame that from that angle when you're following up, not about how great I am. They already know how great you are. Here's the second one, okay? Go bolder and higher level with your brand. I asked you in the earlier one to ask yourself, are you being too agreeable? If you are, or you fear you are, I want you to look at your brand, specifically your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and ask yourself, can I go further with this, right? A lot of times when you see someone who should be owning the high level, right? They should be espousing a business model or a way that executive leaders can move forward, and you see them down here at this manager level circling. It's kind of like seeing a bunch of birds 50 feet up in the air. You expect seagulls and maybe crows or whatever, but if you see a hawk there, that's not going to make you say, oh wow, what a great deal I have for a hawk. It's going to make you say, what is wrong with this bird that it's not where it should be, right? So if you find yourself getting late stage and you feel like, hey, you know what? I already should be at the highest level of consideration for this type of role, you should be going for higher roles. Who are you targeting right now? Who are you looking as your examples and your barometers on LinkedIn? I certainly hope you're not making it up as you go along. That's rookie mistake number 1. But in terms of who you're looking at, if you're a director, why are you only looking at directors and senior directors? Look at C-suite leaders. Understand how they got there. They're no more than 1, max 2 steps away from where you are right now. If I target them, if I brand myself at that level of impact and I reflect that, it's going to go easier for me. Because when it comes to hiring, people don't buy based on how conservative your brand is. They base it based on how high level territory, how big that promise is. And then they make an educated decision to say, hey, you know what? If this person gets us 50% of the way there, it's fine. 30% of the way there, it's still fine, right? So I really want you to ask yourself, are you playing it too safe when it comes to your brand? It's a huge, huge problem that I see otherwise very, very deserving professionals, and it elongates job search times like you would not believe. Go big, go bold, go high level, and draw from people who make you nervous. If they're not making you nervous, you shouldn't be looking at them as competitors, right? Final tip, set clearer parameters as you move through the hiring process. This is the opposite of being a good student. This is about being a good teacher. That means I want you to ask yourself about 3 areas: availability, accountability, and follow through. These are the 3 I want you to always be thinking about. Am I doing enough to set the parameters? Why are we expecting that just because you're interviewing at Tom, Dick, and Harry company that they're going to know everything about hiring? They're just figuring it out. They're just figuring it out the way that you are. So, are you available at the moment of a drop of a hat? Or do you have a call scheduler? Do you have a plan? Do you have a way of scheduling it beforehand to prepare? Before you accept that second interview or that third interview, how many questions did you ask about what ground are we going to cover there? What more do you need from me? Where are you guys? How many other people are you considering? All of these questions play a role. And if you're not standing up for yourself, you're just giving them license to do whatever. What's your time frame? If you are expecting a response from them and they tell you in 48 hours, that means 48, okay? That does not mean an hour or a minute more than 48, right? If I say I'm going to follow up with you, I'm following up with you within 1 day of the interview. Why am I waiting around? Why am I playing games, right? So set the parameters. When are you available for calls? When are you available for interviews? If someone's calling you, are you available at the drop of a hat? No, you are not. Schedule it. And use that opportunity to get some intelligence on what specifically this person is going to be looking at there, so you can dial in and use your time effectively. If you're not setting any parameters and you're just going blindly through the interview, that's one of the biggest reasons why job search times will stretch out unnecessarily, all right? So I hope that this is helpful. Use this as your blueprint if you're consistently getting passed over during the last round of hiring. If this makes sense for you, where you want to go next is helloanish.com, HELLOANISH.com. ish.com, where you can go deeper into our world of generating opportunities all on your own. Nothing having to do with the traditional job search market, everything having to do with solving pain at the high level. If that makes sense for you, we have a full system that you can absorb, all right? HelloAnish.com is where you need to go. Bye, guys.